Well, gamers, it's still wintertime. It's still cold out. Let's bundle it up here and do a top 10 what I think the best winter levels in video games are. Now, keep in mind, people, these have to be from specifically video games that are not entirely winter, as in winter sports games and games that are basically all winter and snow throughout, like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Mario and Sonic Olympic Winter Sports. Those kind of games are not going to be included because that's obviously not fair. So yeah, these have to be levels taken right from a video game that are not completely winter. So, and keep in mind, as you guessed, this is strictly my opinion, not facts, so don't go apeshit if you don't agree with me on this one. Otherwise, let's cool it down, as if it's not cold enough outside in this winter, starting with number 10. Scene or Level 3 from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. And this is obviously on the NES version, not the arcade version, because this is obviously one of the few added levels in there. And I know this version is obviously inferior to the original arcade counterpart, being that, well, of course, you gotta know what to expect for NES graphics compared to an arcade machine or Xbox Live. It's obviously gonna be not as good. You know, all the moves and everything, and graphics aren't as good. And for NES, you know, you gotta take what you can really get. And I know this level's a little annoying with falling ice caps, the constant product placements, the Pizza Hut in there, and the snowmen are a little annoying, but come on, it's wintertime in New York. You're fighting the freaking Foot Clan, you got this guy to fight at the end. It's freaking wintertime in New York. What better way to celebrate than to kick some ass as one of the 4 Ninja Turtles named after the Renaissance artist. And, well, I know, obviously, like I said, this is not the best Ninja Turtles game ever made, but it's not as bad as the last one, the first one to be exact, on the NES, with frustration, but it still has some of it in there. But it's getting back to the basics, and of course the series only got better at this point, but, well, that's why it's at the lowest spot on this list, so I'm sure you can chill out on that one. Number 9. Level 4, also known as Iceberg, or World 4 as I should really call it, because it's several levels in Kirby's Dream Land 2. So yeah, this is kind of a cheat, but I'm sure anybody can agree this sequel to Kirby's Dream Land 1 was definitely better than the first. I mean, come on. I had to wait almost forever for this to get re-released on 3DS. I don't know what took it so long to release in the United States to be able to play it on the go the way it should be played. Not on the Anniversary Edition for Wii. And yeah, I had great fond memories of this game, especially this level. I mean, the music's great. You got, of course, enemy power-ups that you gain after eating and swallowing them. Yep, of course, being that it's a Kirby game, and yep, of course, you get the penguins in this mini-boss fight that give you freezing power-ups, as if there's not enough cold and ice in this. But I highly recommend the fire one, because you want to be the one to break the ice. Hell, you got wind in this, and this is where, obviously, you require the owl. Because, well, the fish is good for, obviously, swimming and gaining the power-ups if you lose them inside the water. And, of course, you even got a boss fight, as you guessed, like you do at the end of each world in this game. So, it's your job to go in there and kick some ice. Number 8. Heart of Ice from Uncharted 2. Okay, yeah, I have yet to review some of these games, but I've been playing these, and so far, and even number 4 especially, obviously included on my best of 2016, not to get too carried away, but yep, this level in particular from the second game, which you can also get in the collection for the PS4, being that these are obviously PlayStation exclusives, and this level, not much to say, snow, ice, and lots of it. Yeah, I know, these earlier Uncharted games compared to the 4th game, which obviously improved this issue, have had some, you know, minor to moderate flaws with the camera angles, which can really be distracting and can throw you off, especially when trying to solve all these puzzles, which is really creative, to say the least. I mean, this game, it's like Tomb Raider, it's basically like Indiana Jones, you know? Puzzle solve and trying to figure out where to go, as well as taking out enemies. Obviously, in this level, there's not really many enemies, though, yeah, this part of it, it can get really annoying trying to shoot these guys, and, well, these jumps can lead to some rather nasty surprises as well. But once you get the hang of it, and you figure out, after a lot of trial and error, it's pretty cool, and, like I said, annoying, but pretty fun. So, I guess you could say it's a rather cool treasure hunting adventure. Number 7. Freezeezy Peak from Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah, that's just the way it's spelt and pronounced, but Yeah. What more do I have to say about this one? This game was actually really enjoyable. I mean, if you love those three-dimensional games, and obviously I consider this one way better than Donkey Kong 64. I mean, that had some quirky camera controls, and it was still enjoyable, but this game, wow, I had great memories with it. Of course, I have it on my Xbox 360, being that, of course, this was a Rare title, like most of these great games. I mean, Rare was responsible for a lot of great games. But unfortunately, because Nintendo doesn't have their partnership with them anymore, obviously it's now with Microsoft, you can get this on Rare Replay, or unless you still have the original N64, which is pretty much the way to go with this one. I mean, if you want to be as authentic as possible, get this game as a, on cartridge for the N64, and this level, it was really fun. Not only is it a snow level, but what's that? Present boxes? A Christmas tree? Yeah, it's a freaking Christmas level. Even the music sounds Christmassy. I mean, it can't get any more Christmassy than that. Talk about a great gift from a great game right here. Yeah, snowmen are annoying, but hey, any game has its share of annoying enemies, and this game was really, truly enjoyable. Number 6, Slip Slide Ride, from Donkey Kong Country 1, the first one on Super Nintendo, which is also re-released on Game Boy Advance, and I'd say it was emulated pretty well, a little bit different with the bits and music altered a little bit, but I'd say it still holds up very well, especially being able to play it on the go. And like Kirby's Dream Land, aside the fact that it's a 2D side-scroller, this whole world, of course, is all snow, but obviously these levels do have actual names for them, and like I said, this is called, obviously, Slip Slide Ride. Some people may prefer the one with the barrels, which I'm showing right now, I forgot the name of it, but obviously I prefer this one because, well, yeah, all these levels in this whole game and pretty much this whole series are all challenging, and this one has a terrific and sometimes frustrating challenge, because you have, of course, one-hit deaths with each character. You got Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, you got, of course, the bonus stages, and yeah, of course, it's all about slip sliding on the ropes and avoiding all enemies, like, of course, these bees. Yeah, of course, you can't hit them. And slip sliding on these ropes is very tricky because they slip slide either up or down, and sometimes you gotta keep slip sliding up and up and up to climb them. Either way, it's a very challenging level, but you have to admit, this game was really well ahead of its days. I mean, just look at the background effects. I mean, with all the icicles and everything, this is pure winter right here. And the other level with the barrels and the snow and everything is pretty cool too. And like I said, it holds up very well on Game Boy Advance as it did on Super Nintendo. But for today, it's not as impressive as compared to what we have today. But back then in the 16-bit era, this was way ahead of its time. And all this pre-rendered CGI and everything, it just looked awesome. Definitely pushed the limits for what Super Nintendo can really do. And with Rare, once again, helping to publish this game, you gotta admit, they really nailed it right here. Definitely puts a pounding on the chest for a great winter level. Number 5, Cliffhanger from Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, the stealth mission where you're in the snow. What better way to sneak up on people than in a blizzard, right? Can't say much more about this one, and obviously this is on my Xbox 360. Graphics and everything are superb, and I know this series has kind of lost its mojo over the years, that they've pretty much beaten this franchise into the ground. But back then, when I played this one, this was when it was at its prime. And I mean, you get to sneak up, take guys out with a silencer pistol, and, well, obviously don't want to alert them, obviously. Of course you eventually do, and of course you have to detonate the shit out of a lot of them, which is pretty sweet. And even cooler, get to ride the freaking snowmobiles. Man, is that awesome. Cliffhanger. Yeah, I know. What comes to mind is that film starring Sylvester Stallone, but this mission doesn't have him in it. Not that you really need that expendable star. Pun intended right there. But it's a pretty sweet, awesome time. Number 4, Snow Peak Ruins and Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, released for both the GameCube and, of course, the Nintendo Wii. Obviously, I have the Wii version because of the really cool motion gestures, which work for the most part, but hey, this level was pretty cool. Challenging, but hey, what Zelda game isn't challenging? I mean, it's all about problem solving and all that. It makes you think a lot, and this dungeon was no exception. Some slippery parts are kind of annoying, and, well, hey, the coolest part, the weapon you get. The freaking ball and chains. I mean, once you get this thing, oh boy, you're in business. I mean, damn, that's freaking awesome. Picking up these big chunks of ice, and then taking out enemies. Sweet. Yeah. Talk about a rockin' cool time. Yeah. That's how you really break the ice right there. Number 3. Episode 2, also known as Double Mystery on Resident Evil Revelations. The first one, that is. And this is obviously on the 3DS version, as you can tell by the quality of this video footage. And yes, of course, this game was eventually also re-released to home consoles, the Wii U, Xbox 360, PS3, and so forth. Then, of course, came a sequel, which surprisingly would never got a 3DS release, only on the home consoles. Obviously, you know I have the PS4 version, but let's not get too carried away. This level was pretty enjoyable, and this game, in fact, was pretty enjoyable, and the graphics were really pretty damn good for a handheld console. I didn't really think a handheld Nintendo console had it in them to make such a great game. I mean, it was surprisingly good. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got the Circle Pad Pro thing, which some people may complain about, but let's not get too carried away. The gameplay is what really makes the game shine. I mean, graphics, as I said before, and this level is no exception to it. You got the snow effects, and what is this level like? Yeah, it's a snow level. Why else would I include it on winter level list? I mean, first of all, the plane goes down in a bad blizzard, I'm assuming, and of course you investigate, and then you go through snow caves, and what do you fight? Well, werewolf zombies. Yeah, pretty crazy, right? Of course you end up getting nearly injured after you fall and have to defend yourself by shooting these damn things or even blowing them up with grenades. And then, well, you make it out. Can't imagine what a cold, zombie-infested level this must be, but it's pretty damn cool. Yeah, I'm running this pun into the ground, ain't I? Anyway, yep, that's a fun level. And a great game. Number 2, Ice Cap Zone Sonic 3. And yeah, of course, this is also one of those Sonic games that can be linked, of course, to Sonic and Knuckles, which I think is obviously better. And yes, you can get this on many versions, like you can unlock this particular version on, and play, of course, Sonic 3 without Sonic and Knuckles on the Sonic Mega Collection for the home consoles, and even the Classic Collection on the Nintendo DS and so forth. Or you could just go as legit as possible and play it on the original Sega Genesis if you plan on buying it from whatever gaming site or gaming store, and buying, of course, an original cartridge copy of this game and Sonic & Knuckles. But anyway, yes, this level, anybody can agree is awesome. I mean, of course I had to throw a Sonic game in the mix on this list at some point, and this level, it's simply one of the best. Not only is the music perfectly fitting for this type of level, but let's not forget the fact that, well, yeah, it's cool if you play as Knuckles and Tails, but I highly recommend playing as Sonic, because look at Sonic. One thing he has over these other two characters is that you can actually start out by snowboarding. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, it's only at the beginning, and the rest of the level is pretty much the same. And, yeah, you know, you got these ice blocks to break through, you got ice blocks that can even crush you, you got these devices that can obviously freeze you that you have to also avoid, and robotic penguins that you obviously can kill or avoid, ice cap things that can fall, and then of course you got a mini boss fight at the beginning of the first act. Yeah, it's a two-part level, and then of course you got the actual Dr. Robotnik boss fight at the end of the second act, so yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, damn, look at all these ice caps and snow. I mean, it's called Ice Cap Zone for a good reason, and all I can say is, come to the land of the ice and snow from the midnight sun where the hot springs glow. It's a cool level on a classic Sega Genesis gem. And the number 1 best winter level, in my opinion, yep, this is just my opinion, people, Cool Mountain Mario 64. Okay, well, you probably expected a Mario game to show up on this list at some point or another, but obviously I had to give every other game series a chance. You know, I couldn't have Mario hog it all up. So, had to be fair, and this is the one, and I'm sure most of you can agree, Mario 64, the first snow level called Cool Mountain. What more can I say? Yes, there's another one, but this one, it has to be the best. I mean, I'm sure anybody can agree with me on this one. The music's great, the snow, ice, just as cool as ever. In fact, I should say the coolest. Yeah, I'm really killing this, aren't I? I'm really beating this pun to the ground, but yeah. What more do I have to say? You can jump back in, out of the painting. That would just make me wonder, though, right? If I want to get away from this winter, what, can I just jump into a painting of a tropical island or something and get away to a warmer climate? That would be cool, right? But no, unfortunately it doesn't work like that in real life, but it works like that in this game. You're inside of a building, jump into the painting, and you've got many missions. Finding the penguin's lost child, or he's just friggin' standing there. You know, lots of other stuff, getting across this gap. Good luck with this, unless you got Luigi or somebody better, like in the DS remake, which is, well, has one advantage over the console version, aside from better graphics, but obviously looser controls. And of course you get to slide down this thing, and even get to race against this penguin guy. Sweet. I mean, this music's cool too, and it's been, well, pretty notable for Mario 64 standards. I mean, it's very well memorable, and I sure love the hell out of it. The soundtrack's great in this stage when you're outside, and it's great inside of here. But you gotta be careful not to slide off, because, well, that won't be a cool ride after all. It'll only be cool if you get the star. Yahoo, as Mario would say. So, that's my list right there. Till next time, stay warm and happy gaming.